Good morning. So this will be an update video, and hopefully it will be followed by many different videos later today and tomorrow, because I have a lot on my mind, both scientific issues and historical issues, political issues, more of the same, I guess, but not exactly the same. And maybe I will even add the Dune commentary, which I promised you. I will start with repeating. It's very important for me to repeat. If someone didn't understand, the theater is closed. I am not interested in participating in any theater shows. I've done it far too much, and I'm done. Since 2019, I imposed on myself life of a monk, both sexually and romantically, and also with many other meaning of I mean, there are said also for all sort of, I mean, the term monk, I mean, is associated with all sort of connotations, but you understand, I live a life of monk because I understand that everyone that I know wants me to participate in a show and in a theater, and it's not my interests, and it's not the interest of anyone that is dear to me. There are not many people that are dear to me, but those that are dear to me, it's not in their interest that I will participate in more theater shows. No, not at all. So please, I don't understand why you keep, give me all those hints regarding what works and what doesn't work. Whatever works or doesn't work or did work, God will pay everyone, according to their deeds. But this is not, the sins that whoever, worked or didn't work have done, and their punishments is something that is orthogonal to, or I would say it's just an important subject, but it's a different subject than the subject that I speak about, so much. I do not want to participate in a theater show. I don't need your theater shows. They do not help me. As I said, it's much worse than Soviet theater of the worst time in the Soviet in the USSR. Okay. Another issue which is completely different but scientific. I understand that several people are now, are very, very impressed with actually the cutting of the sellotape or the stones that you see. The little diamond that I call them. I call it little diamond, but of course it's sellotape. Or not of course, but it was established that they like to mine the sellotape, especially from the edges where it touches where it's simpler. It's easy to query because it's above the level of the slide usually. So first of all, you've seen nothing yet. It's just the beginning. There are amazing stuff, and I'm sure that I will show you much more, and possibly even today, but certainly in the next couple of days or weeks at most, because it's, I've already, it's not new. There are many YouTube videos, and I don't understand why you can't watch the earlier YouTube. There are hundreds of YouTube videos documenting the major steps that of my research. Maybe I need to re-upload it. I don't know how to do it. It's not like a social network that you need to repost. By the way, I'm by order of the court, I cannot use social networks, so that's why I use YouTube. It's like almost half an year, and it doesn't seem that it's going to end because I need to shut up. I'm not allowed to speak. So yeah, the Neros can cut very neatly, and yes, it's impressive. And of course, this is in a way related to my hope. I mean that of putting the Neros to good work with regards to diamonds and gold and things like that. I mean, of course, that seeing the quarries and then the way that they shape the stones, microscopic ones, but nevertheless so neatly, is indeed impressive. And it's for me, it's like it was good. Like I mean, good omen. These were good omens for later. I mean, the industrialization of the Neros, and even if only for my own purposes, like even if it's one-man industry, it's still an industry. I should say that you need to remember, I mean, when you judge, I mean, what the Neros can do and cannot do, or when you try to understand, I mean, how intelligent they are or how sophisticated they are. First of all, again, watch them the YouTube videos, the hundreds of YouTube videos that I uploaded during the last, since January. I mean, I deal with this question with mountains of evidence. So, I mean, in the beginning it was Hebrew videos, but I mean, pretty quickly I switched to English. So this is one. And second, the most impressive creation of the Neros is not the sellotape like mines, or even not, I mean, cloning of limbs or of dead animals, biological animals. Some would say, I mean, that the most amazing are the things that probably, I mean, relate to the nanoscopic or even to the quantum scale, which is indeed amazing, as completely breaks every laws of physics that we know. This is indeed amazing, but the most amazing thing that the Neros can create are the Neros themselves. Even, I mean, I did a lot and doing glass, like, I mean, recently, and it's still, I mean, it's going to be certainly, I mean, a subject that will keep be on the agenda. I try to clone the Neros outside my body, to show you how they are cloned outside my body. But even if they can clone outside my body, they certainly can grow outside my body. And this is, it got a lot of evidence by the fact that I use like old mixtures that, I mean, that were kept in good condition and electricity, but I didn't like add Neros all the time. So, I mean, if no replication is done and small ones didn't grow, some, I mean, should have died. And I mean, and the good mixtures with good condition, I mean, contain relatively a lot of Neros. And this is something that you can see in like many slides, even ones that I prepared yesterday, but I didn't put it. I didn't upload the video, and I didn't have time for that. But I'll touch that in a minute. So, and certainly, I mean, they clone inside my body. For certain, I mean, I pig Neros. I mean, they are in my saliva, and the first they die inside my body. I mean, and even if just, I mean, it's my immune system before everything. So yes, they confront biological threats and they die. And maybe they die of old age, I don't know, or they wear out, or maybe it's another theory that I had in the past, but I don't have enough information, so I abandoned it for now. Is that for several of their creations, they actually, I would say, not commit suicide, but it's more, I mean, they do the transformer, not AC/DC, but like the they transform themselves to other things, so they actually, I mean, they do not exist anymore. So, but this is a theory that I don't have enough, I have no I don't have good evidence. I thought about it. I mean, it started with the shred of evidence. Like, it didn't just pop out of my mind, but it didn't pass the threshold of, like, so I abandoned it for now. The idea of, I mean, that for something they need to actually, I mean, for several constructions they actually need to, I mean, to destroy themselves or to turn to something else. and of course they create things inside my body, and this is not, I mean, this is I think quite comparable to your own immune systems and lymphocytes, like the white blood cells. So yes, but they create neurons, which is amazing. So I mean, if they can create neurons, of course they can create worms, and we've seen them creating worms, and of course, like many other things, and presumably without it doesn't. I mean, we've seen them cloning all sorts of limbs of animals with great precision. So it only makes sense from my point of view that it shouldn't be. I mean, from the sophistication aspect, it shouldn't be that difficult to make them like create diamond or gold rings or things like that. I think, of course, I do not supply them with the material. So I mean, yes, we need to actually prove that they can, transform material. I mean, create gold, like do the alchemist thing. But even if they can, I almost certain they can. But even if they can't, it's not. This is not even my main concern right now, because they can. I mean, they can certainly use material and do great things with it. And the level of sophistication that is required for diamond, even including the cutting, like the artistic cutting, and that you've seen that they can do already. I mean, we sell it, but nevertheless. So the level for like material objects that worth a lot of money, not. I mean, everything I think that was created by the Neros should worth a lot of money because it's a novelty right now. But just, I mean, even just in a free market that is unaware of the origin of the thing, it shouldn't be very difficult for them to create such things like gold stuff and things with diamonds. Of course, they still need energy and matter and the numbers in order to create any large thing, like. And so I struggle with that, like how to make them like how to have like large like groups of workers, and of course and the energy and the matter, but from the sophistication level, of course they can do like things that are like diamond rings and like golden medallions and things like that. Okay, another issue. I took some time to clean the room and to change the whole. I would say like how things are put in the very, very limited space that I have here. So I hope that now it will be better. The TV is, I never use it, but maybe I will sometime. But yeah, I mean, there's a huge bed relative to the size of the room, but that's the bed that I have, and it's nice that it is big because I can, like, you know. So this is dining table and also work table and microscopic table. And, I mean, and this is these are the very important the closets, and also now all the containers, and there are quite a bit of the Neros, and all the like the compartment, like the machines that that are used as containers they are all I placed all of them in this piece of furniture. Here we have the old bowl. I didn't forget it yet, but I mean it's still I still can't use it right now. Inside it we have something new that I've created yesterday, which is a freezing experiment with 3 bottles with mix also like 3 different mixtures, and I try to keep it in very cold with ice and cold water. That's the only thing that I can do, but I try to do it. And I'll open it tomorrow. I mean, I always take care that it will be relatively cold as much as possible, and I open it tomorrow and we'll see what happens. Inside it, there is the machine, it looks like a catamaran, like a boat with two, like the 2 boats that are connected together. And I mean, it's also something that I didn't like. I wasn't able. It was a disappointment because I took a lot of effort to create it. If you remember, with also like adjustments, but it didn't create interesting stuff. But maybe it will in the future. And here we have the speaker. I mean, it is now used to experimentation with meat. Actually, sounds creepy, but that's the way it is. And So we have the cookie jar that you remember, and I've also used this one, the pastel containers for new experimentation. And you see now two Ner Neshama, it's like a big candle, and battle with assortments of all sort of candles that I cut from the assortment that my mother brought me, although with oil, like canola oil, which burns pretty nicely, and of course Nero juice. And we will see how it goes. I want to keep it like for a long time, for like a week or so now. So they will enrich it, very well. And after a week, or if I don't have the patience, maybe just after 2 or 3 days, we will start to return to our experimentation with burning. I haven't done it in a while, and for new people, that might be nice to see. How I'll do it like in low key, not with big fires like I've done in the past. The idea is just to show you how for all those that didn't see the previous videos, but how the Neros can reliably and predictably use to enrich fuels. I use very simple fuels, bee wax and canola oil, but nevertheless these are fuels, and I will be able to, to use amazingly like large fires from amazingly small amount of material. But I will not do it probably here because I'm in a hostel. So I'll just I'll probably use small fire, but for a long time, and I will see how can we document it. But it's important, and also fire is not for the fire itself, but it also helps with experimentation with regards to kinetic energy. But maybe I'll speak about it later. It's not something currently it's not super important, but it's also like on the menu. Here we have the reading power plant. As maybe you've seen the short video that I uploaded. Reading power plant is a power plant, an old power plant that is located in near the sea, in the beach in Ramat Aviv, near like where I grew. It's a power plant. It's like it's one of like the landmark of my childhood. I grew in Ramat Aviv Gimel and then Ramat Aviv, and this is right there. And so only like relatively at an old age, I asked myself, what the fuck is this shit is doing in there? Because it's almost, there are there are two versions of like its operation status. Some say that it doesn't generate any electricity at all, and some say that it's got like one generator that produces very small amount of electricity. When you walk, I've walked close to this power plant many times during my many travels in the last couple of years, and this was documented many times actually in several social networks. But when you walk, you hear the buzzing of like something, supposedly something is generated. But even according to the maximalist approach, it's almost like generates no electricity at all, and there are other. The main power plants in Israel are the ones in Orot Rabin, in Hadera, and also in the Ashdod and Ashkelon, if I remember correctly. So, and they generate much. De facto, it doesn't do anything at all, and it stands on perhaps the most expensive land on Israel. And Israel is a very small country, and most of it, 87% or so, is used as military training. It's dedicated for the military. Yeah, if you didn't know, that's the way it is. So it's almost nothing can be used for for developing the land and creating offices or and domestic housing. That is why the price of real estate in Israel is entirely crazy, completely insanely high, even though it will all, of course. That asteroids are on the way. Actually, I don't know if you know, but asteroids are on the way, and they will annihilate, of course, Israel. So the real estate prices will be very, very low. But in the meantime, they're incredibly high. So, and yeah, this land, this is this relatively large piece of land that is now bordering with the relatively new, it's called the new Namal, new harbor, which is kind of like a entertainment and commercial district of Tel Aviv, which is very touristic, and it's all near the beach, and on the other side it's borders with Ramat Aviv and other like new Ramat Aviv. I don't recall. It's like a new neighborhood which is extremely like lucrative in Israel. So this piece of land, I mean, is worth a ton of money. So why do they not? I mean, sell it and dismantle this piece of shit power plant that probably does not generate any electricity at all, or perhaps just, I mean, kind of like, I don't know, symbolic amount just for, I mean, I don't know why. Why? Of course, the reason that I speak about it is not because I want to show you, I mean, like civil inadequacy or waste in Israel, because this is not just a matter of waste, it's a matter of genocide and slavery, because the power plant is used as part of the subjugation of the Titans, and it was done since long ago, and I've spoken about it in the past, so it's not the time to repeat myself, but it's also, I mean, it's in the future stage, and it's still like, I mean, this is still the case. It's still, this place is still used for the subjugation of the Titans, and I will not be surprised, even though I don't know it for certain, if actually there is a Stargate in I mean, under, I mean, near the sea or under the sea, in the vicinity of the like in the bottom of the sea, in the vicinity of the power plant. But I don't know. I as I said, I've never even seen a Stargate in my life. Like, I don't know even how it looks, and certainly I didn't pass through anything. Certainly I haven't touched. My foot never touched Venus. I'm not Venusian. I am Terran. I was born here, and this planet belongs to me more than it belongs to you, Homo sapiens, pieces of shit. Any case, the only thing that I know for certain is how the Neros symbolizes the like the wormhole, which, but I don't want to get into it. It's something like that. But you can see here a variety of, I dismantled 3 speakers all pretty strong, and so we have 3 magnets right now. This is so strong that I can't even move it. This is a strong one. I need to just in a bit I will speak about it. Here we have like we have like the electrolysis chamber and asteroids, and here what we have is actually another magnet with a new mixture with a different attitude. But I don't want to elaborate too much. And here we have the old, two-sided, it's a couple of days old. The two-sided electromagnet, and there is a mixture inside it, and we still need to check, how it looks under the microscope. We have a ton of things to watch under the microscope, and my main limitation is that I don't have slides at all. So I really need to scratch the bottom of the barrel of plastics to create slides, and that's what I will do in the next hour or so. So you will be able to see, all sorts of stuff, following our experiments. There are already slides from yesterday that I prepared and didn't show you, but maybe I'll show them as reference. We need to see. I don't know what will be impressive and what not. So it's as I said, in science, not every day is like, you don't hit the home run or whatever. I don't understand football at all, and also I don't understand baseball. But I like the NBA is something that I watched in the past, and especially when my daughters were babies, and I woke up in the middle of the night to see the NBA games, and. So not every day is a home run, so whatever. And also there are the sexual metaphors of third base, second base, first base. I don't know. So this is from baseball, which is even more stupid. Anyway, so there is like a ton of stuff, and I hopefully something will be interesting. From the experiments that have already taken in place, and I will certainly conduct videos in today, maybe very shortly, even if it will not be as impressive, just to show you how to give you an update of the working of the Neros, and all this is interesting to see how they advance, even if it's not very impressive, like from what they actually prepare. And I have many directions of how to continue with regards to electricity, and I need to actually work on it. I will do it maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next in the following week, because there are a ton of stuff that should be tested. I also I have a little bit of new cords and circuits that I dismantled from the things that I found in the trash. So I have but I mean, all in all, it's something that it can be used to create all sorts of new electric circuits, which might be promising. So I mean, and also to work with AC, which is something that I want to return to do. AC, as you remember, it's got a benefit of if you don't have if you don't use transformer, you have much more. I mean, you have the voltage is considerably higher, and presumably also the amperes. But this is, I mean, but the current is actually, I mean, depends a lot on the type of the things that you connect, like the resistance. And but I mean, the voltage will be considerably higher. And again, I will remind you, what I want to do. I want to supply electricity, electric power, and I know that it's vague, but it is vague, but very vague. I mean, what does it even mean? But again, electrolysis actually, I mean, predictably and repeatedly. I mean, if you use the specific container with specific mixture, they could create live worms, like robotic worms, and they do it again and again and again. So yes, they can harness the power of electricity, and they've done it not only for worms, but also for other things. But the worm is something that they can reproduce all the time. So yes, they can do it either by, I mean, my theory of if you remember, closing the circuit with their bodies and act like components in the circuit, like resistors, or maybe another way. But electrolysis is cumbersome, and I don't really think that we need all the byproducts of electricity, like the galvanization and also the ionization that I haven't mentioned. But I don't think that ionization is actually needed. But so all these are like byproducts, and you have, and there is this issue of steam, because I mean it's very quickly. I mean, it depends on the mixture. If it's kind of conductive, and I mean, if it's a thin mixture, I mean it creates steam very quickly and heat. And so I mean, there is a ton of issues. So as you remember, we want to be able to use electric power with much more elegance. And so one way to do it is of course using, I mean, I thought that this is a clever idea of the electromagnet that is wrapped in two directions. So presumably there will be the force, the vector, there will be two opposing vectors of the field, of magnetic field. But I don't know if it actually works that way, and maybe it's either anyway. It's not really. I mean, it does not consider a change of magnetic force, because it's always the same. I mean, it's two fields that are quite they don't really change. So I mean, one way to do it is of course using AC, and we've spoken about it yesterday. To use the fact that AC is constantly changing to create a changing magnetic force, and maybe I will do it soon. It's promising thing to do. And another option is actually to revolve the magnets. I have pretty big magnets, and I mean, or the container, or the magnet, or the container, one of them. Both will not be easy. I mean, because in order to do it, I mean, so how do you spin the magnet? I mean, okay, so maybe I can construct some kind of a motor, but it's not. I mean, or salvage it from the scrap. So I mean, it's an idea, but it requires some engineering. But maybe that will be the way, to actually create a motor. By the way, you don't actually need an electric motor. You can do something you can create. I mean, can create with rubber bands. I can create something that is used for many millennia for potters, like Harry Potter. No, not Harry Potter. The Potter of the clay. You know that. I mean, so I don't know. It's called of nine maybe in Hebrew. I have no idea what it's called in English. Like the thing that you create clay, like pottery with, I mean, the machine. So I mean, obviously today it's connected to the electricity, but in the past you'd move your legs. I mean, and just with rubber, and that's the way they used it for many, like, thousands of years. So this is also an option, and this will also be like a physical exercise for me to move my legs, because one of my problems is that I don't move at all, and I have back pain, as you know, and all sorts of stuff that is because I don't move. I really hope that in the next hearing, like in the arrest trial, should be held in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I mean, the judge will give me the privilege of, I mean, walking at least several hours a day. I mean, I will not use it every day, but at least several hours a day potentially, because I have to walk. First of all, it's one of my main hobbies, walking, long range walking, and also short range. But it's certainly one of my hobbies. Second, I mean, if I don't do it, I suffer immensely, and I mean, I need to do it. I need to walk. So yes, rotating a magnet is an option. Using AC is an option. Perhaps some kind of like combination of electrolysis and magnetic force, like exposure, like of the container to magnetic force, will also work. I mean, I gladly like hear your advices on it, because it's all very, I mean, like, from my perspective, you know, I come from the software industry. I don't have experience at all with like physical things that, I mean, that needs to, like, engineering, from the engineering. I have physical, I mean, women are also physical things, and I have a sexual, like, you know, experience with women, but I mean, to build stuff, like to build engineering material, so it's all new. And so, and there is also another option of simulating the way that speakers work. I don't really need the whole speaker, but I mean, how speakers actually work. I mean, in general, I don't know. I need to study it even more at the end of the time. But what seems to be to always be the case is something that I've read, and also, I mean, it was actually when I dismantled the speakers, I've seen that that's the way it is. That you always have a very strong, relatively strong permanent magnet and an electromagnet, such as this, and they work in tandem. And this creates like different electromagnetic waves that are interpreted by in our ears as sound. So maybe this can, I mean, maybe a combination of permanent magnet and electromagnet can also be used to create electricity. I mean, to supply the neurons with electricity. And again, I will gladly hear your comments or advices, because this is interesting and this is new to me. What I also don't know is what happens when you actually connect a permanent magnet to a circuit, and this is actually what happens here. I mean, maybe I'll show you. So the circuit, I mean, in order for it not to be short, I mean, it's connected to this electromagnet, which acts as a resistor, and then in Q, like in serial, it's connected from here, like to the base. You see the blue wire? It's connected to the base of the magnet, and this is part of the symbolic message. This is actually a piece of a chicken wing. Yeah, it's part of what I want to now to actually, I mean, to see is how they how they deal with chicken wings, because presumably they lack fly wings. By the way, I found, like, I mean, yesterday this night I managed to capture like a much bigger fly than the ones that I had until now, and also I think that I've done it without damaging the body at all. I hope right now it's here, and so it will certainly be used in another slide, but I just need to find empty slides or to create ones, because it looks amazing, like very, very good shape. And so this is one of my new mixtures. So you see that, and this is the second. I mean, the star, the five rods, I split it to 5 rods because I wanted it to be evenly, rest on the magnet, so the jar will not dance on it, so it will be pretty much secured. So it's one wire is connected to the magnet and one to the base of the magnet. I don't know how it affects the magnet. It doesn't seem to make it stronger, actually, as I thought it should be. But it does magnetize the cap, the lid of the jar, of the glass jar. This one is freakishly strong. Okay, so I do not afraid to admit that I wander in the dark because I don't have enough knowledge in physics, and certainly not practical knowledge of electricians. But you know that it doesn't. I'm not afraid of learning new stuff, and I'm always optimistic. And I needed to study biology from zero because in the biological sciences I even had much less experience and knowledge than in physical and stuff. So, and I've done it because it was important. So I'm sure that I'll do the same with anything that is needed for physics. Anything that is needed. I do not claim to know how to open a new Stargate. But let's start with creating, kind of a home generator of changing magnetic fields that will allow a conductor that is thought to change magnetic field to, electric current will flow through the conductor, which hopefully, will be created, at least as part of it, from Neros, from the robotic Neros. So I think that will be all for now. There are several videos that I need. Apart from the scientific stuff, so there are several things that are not scientific that I need to speak about, and maybe I released it just even if just for myself. So it will be an agenda. Not everything should be done today, but just so we'll have. So first of all, we need to actually give you the second part of the Shatnez. It was only the first part, and I think that is important to continue. Some people thought, okay, so I understand. Gays are, homosexuals are, homosexual couples are like the donkey and the ox in front of they're flowing together. It's not kind of they say min sheino b'mino, it doesn't fit. But it's not what I intended to say, because this is very shallow interpretation. My point is much I would say more concrete and is related to what the horrible things that take place now in Israel and also in other countries with regard to the subjugation of the Titans. So I will speak about Shatnez. I speak about the hybrids, and I will finish the science thing that I've started and didn't have the opportunity to complete. So we have the Dune commentary, and we have another issue which is for me very, very important. Two issues, two subjects of two different videos that are for me are very important. Even though they are not it's not burning subject. It's not. It will not going to set me free from the Nazi prison. As I always say, I need people to move arms and legs, so I'll be free. I'll be rescued from the Nazi prison. But some things are important, so and I don't have them on video, so I will take the trouble to actually speak about it. One subject is a subject of that I wrote about in a blog post 2 or 3 years ago, which is the issue of first contact. How it's and with interpretation, with Christian interpretation of the left hand of darkness of Ursula Le Guin. I don't know if any of you read it or remember it. I don't even have it in my mail. I cannot find it actually. It's probably in one of the Linux machines. So it's a post that I really liked. I mean, it starts with like anecdote regarding my childhood, like my adolescence. That I participated in Trekkie, with Trekkie like mini convention in Israel, in Tel Aviv Cinema. So maybe you remember it. I don't know if any one of you, I mean, remember this or had access to it, because it was quite a while. And after that, I speak about Stanislav Lem and Ursula Le Guin, and also Arthur C. Clarke. It's like, it's centered, I mean, it's a lot about science fiction, like classics, but the idea is to explain like how I understand the issue of first contact and what should be considered, and why it is happening the way that it is happening with me, for example. So I will speak about it. And another issue is that I need to speak about is something that will be entirely trivial to anyone that comes from intelligence background, and which is probably almost all of my listeners. But I speak for the future as well, and for people that do not know anything about Mossad, Shabak, or MI6 or CIA. And what I want to do is to explain very basic stuff, extremely basic stuff on how these people actually operate, and why in Israel, I mean, it's so cruel and terrible and like worse than the Nazis. I mean, I speak about a lot, but specifically of how they operate, and in very very basic level. Like, I mean, something that probably all my current subscribers and watchers already know, but I think that it's important for people that have no relation and doesn't know anything about intelligence services, that they will understand how this shit really is working, at least in Israel and probably in other places as well, and why it's so horrible. I mean, and it's completely different than what people imagine. I will end with the following message. I do not want to participate in any theater show, and it's not my interest, and it's not the interest of anyone that is dear to me to participate in a theater show. We need to be rescued from the Nazi prison using arms and legs, not mouths and tongues. Arms and legs.